concentration of officers, sheriff's office representatives here, and all on the south side, facing north here, and I'm trying to decipher what I just heard here. They're just what they're saying is that they're going to have different teams of officers here that are going to be doing a search inside. But for the time being, they secured the exterior. There's nobody in any kind of crossfire. One of the things that they always concern themselves with when you got somebody with a weapon and you have a bunch of different officers and different positions, you want to make sure that there's nobody at the other end that's going to be a friendly, as they would say. So that's part of the concern that they're operating under right now.
Well, the two big things that we saw from your live pictures, Ralph, in the last 20 minutes was police. It looked like the guy was handcuffed. His hands were behind his back. They were doing a quick jog with him. I took him out of one of the buildings, and he had something on his head. That's the guy's like in a red shirt or orange shirt.
And it wasn't long after that we saw the three civilians. It appeared to be one adult male and two females. I think I didn't have really a chance to double check.
Right here. We're looking at it now.
Video. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And we assume that, I mean, this is a big difference between the guy coming out with his hands up, and he's obviously not handcuffed. They're not pushing or rushing him, so, maybe he works there or owns something in there, and they're just clearing that building. So this right here to the right, where he was coming out of, is the same building as the live picture on the left. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
that's what you're looking at right there. Yeah, that building right there in the center of the screen.
Okay, this building.
Right there, and of course it's trying to read the name on it. Hang on one second here.
I can't read it either.
On it. Yeah.
And again, let's see here.
That's hard to read up here.
It is.
On my monitor. There is a phone number there.
There's a picture of a vehicle on either side on the bottom there of SUV.
Yeah, it says,
so
I think it's called. It just says something auto sales.
Okay.
I can make that.
So maybe they make auto repairs.
Yeah. Right.
And these people are just doing their jobs. And again, as we mentioned earlier, many businesses, not just in Southwest Miami-Dade, but especially warehouses, districts, they usually lock their doors and will have a buzzer. So it will be interesting to find out later if this suspect or suspects is in the building, how that person got in, just looking probably for an unlocked door or open window or something like that. But we have good reason to believe that police believe their suspect or suspects is in that particular building or has been in there possibly. To the right is video that we just turned of heavy police presence in the area. It's still a very, very large active scene because they're investigating, trying to find this gunman or multiple gunmen.
Then we have one of the SRT big trucks is on the move here, moving from the east to the west on the road that's on the south side of the building that they seem to be focusing on here. We'll stay with that as it comes around the other side of the building, hopefully. They may see them pull in here right in front of this police cruiser that's parked here. Yeah, it appears that's what they're going to do. So this may be the area that, and of course, one of the concerns here is that we're doing a live broadcast here, and we don't want to be giving away information there. Okay, I'm being told by my the pilot here, Mark Lewis. Tell me, Mark. Okay, yeah. All right, we're gonna just for a second we're gonna pan off of here. Let me see if I can find this here.
And that's the Palmetto. And what are you looking for?
Looking for the blue truck.
You looking for what?
Air rescue has landed. That's what we got. Okay, we have air rescue here standing by to transport anybody that needs to get to the hospital pretty quick. So it's just right on the other side of Bird right there. So that's where we're
Tropical Park, right?
Trying to keep an eye on everything that's going on here.
So that tells you a lot. They're on standby to transfer somebody who may be severely injured or is severely injured. They have nearly every piece of equipment out there, TRT, SWAT, helicopter, police, and fire. So they're on standby for something. And
they're dispatched out here just to make sure that everything is, They meet all the criteria there. There's the police. Okay, it took me a second there to come back and figure out where I was.
All right, I want to recap, if you're just now joining us, the traffic situation. Avoid the area definitely if you can. You're not going to go anywhere in this particular area. This is information coming from Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, asking people to avoid the area if you can, because obviously the heavy police activity, and there's an active investigation as they look for their suspect or suspects who committed this crime. Southwest 70th to 75th Avenue is closed. From Southwest 40th to 48th is also currently closed. They're asking the public and drivers to stay out of the area, seek different routes. This is, again, the Warehouse District, right by Bird Road and very, very close to the Palmetto Expressway. As we've been saying, there looks like there's car restoration businesses, used cars, antique stores. Actually, it's behind antique stores, and then there's a strip mall to the north of it. So this is video. Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, I'm getting information here. I'm waiting to hear it verified. Hang on. Yeah, they're now saying that there were a total of 6 people that were involved. 6 total. I don't know if that includes the shooter or not, but they're saying 6 total right now that they're giving that information out in command.
Well, 6 involved. We were hearing initially that 4 people were shot. That could be 6 people injured, right, or it could be 4 people injured and 2 gunmen.
Right.
So just keep that in mind when we're dealing with the live situation, and the story is very fluid, changes. But it sounds like there's quite a few people involved. If you're hearing 6.
Yeah, and we can assume that just judging by the response of the law enforcement here, just one of the largest I've ever seen. So.
Yeah, definitely. I've never seen 4 police officers on top of a police car looking for a suspect or suspects. So you can see SRT in a line, as you said, Ralph. Very good point. They're different teams trained for this exact situation, but they have such a large area to canvass and clear.
Yeah, it's just the old story. It's money and manpower, and that's what they have. They have that to do this kind of job. It's what's required when these kinds of situations occur. You hope they never do, but when they do, you have the response that you need. And it's just part of that their name. They were the special response thing. I mean, if you didn't have it, you'd really be in a bad way.
Right, and as we've been mentioning, police did hurry, it looks to be somebody who might have been handcuffed, Ralph showed us that about 20 minutes ago, out of that building. And this is the video to the right. We don't know if this person is a suspect or an alleged gunman, but they were definitely treating him differently than what we assume were the civilians that they escorted out of this building with their hands up, like this particular gentleman. So right. They're looking for somebody else, that's for sure. Go ahead.
And when that happens too, sometimes it's an abundance of caution on the police department's side. Just in other words, if the person is dubious in any way or any of you're playing a gut feeling on something, you secure that person until you can identify who they are. It's a lot easier to apologize later and say sorry about that, but everybody, you're safe and we're safe.
Right. And as you mentioned, we were just looking at that video. We did see SRT with a long pole.
Yeah, they stored that. They put it. We actually saw them put it back into that truck there while we were talking there. They put it back in, and then that truck moved off. So they had the perimeter set up, and what they're going to do is they're going to put together a list from the owners of the stores. If they need blueprints or they need egress and they want a set of keys to get into a certain building, they're going to do that. They're going to know how many people were working today, what time their shifts were, who's supposed to be in a building, who's not in the building, and they're going to go door to door. That's what we were talking about a while ago about manpower, having the manpower to do that, and that's exactly what they're going to do until they've either cleared this or they've determined that that person is and no longer in the area, or that person is taken into custody, one way or the other.
It does appear that I don't want to say things have calmed down, but we aren't seeing them run from building to building anymore.
No, not.
There's still a
That's
large
correct.
police presence,
Right.
of course.
Right. Yeah. And again, that's the initial response, and get as many people in. If the people that that needed assistance from the police have been rescued or removed from the area, and they've stabilized it that much, then of course it becomes procedural, and they're going to do everything by the way they've been trained to do as far as locating the alleged shooter.
If you're just now joining us, we're getting word that 6 people were involved in what appears to be a shooting in this warehouse district in southwest Miami-Dade. Initial reports were 4 people were shot. Police have been looking for the suspect or suspects, the gunman, for the past 45 minutes or so in this area, right off the Palmetto Expressway and Bird Road. This is the 7300 block of 45th Street in this warehouse district. A large area has been blocked off. Big part of Bird Road has been blocked off from southwest 70th to 75th Avenue, also from southwest 40th to 48th Street. It's still closed. Huge police contingency and police presence in this area as they conduct this investigation of a very serious situation. Ralph showed us a live picture of a helicopter ready to take the injured or whoever potentially might be injured in this capture of the suspect or suspects. That helicopter is very close at Tropical Park there on standby. So this is video you're looking at to the right, about from 20 minutes ago, when police hurriedly took this person, it looks like handcuffed, to someplace. We couldn't see because the building was blocking it, maybe a police car, but they took him out of this building and made entry into the building. What we believe is a civilian, somebody there working maybe at this business, was taken out of the building with his hands up, treated much differently than the other gentleman, for sure. And on the left is a live picture, a nice wide shot of the police presence. We've got Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, Miami-Dade Police on the scene, special response teams, K-9, as you can see there. So there's K-9 going in, it looks like, or maybe not.
Yeah, Lenny just came out of one of the buildings
Okay.
there. They're deploying them as they arrive on the scene. Of course, now you've got to deal with traffic just getting into the building here and getting into this area. But then we have officers being transported. This guy just popped out of the back of that pickup truck that's driving our way right there. So they're still deploying officers in this area. All these guys are responding from different jurisdictions, and some guys are actually being called in from maybe a day off or a different schedule with people who work at night or whatever, but they're getting still calling in more police officers. So let me bring the camera back out here. We've changed our position just a little bit here, moved a little bit off to the southwest to give you a slightly different angle here. So when I zoom the camera all the way back out from that scene, now you're going to see we're on the west side of the Palmetto. That's Tropical Park, where the Santa's Enchanted Forest used to set up there at the bottom of the screen. And as you mentioned and we showed earlier in our pictures, they did.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Got a little bit of information that's pretty important. According to our sources, the shooter, the gunman, is dead.
Okay.
Sources say the shooter, the gunman, is dead in this shooting there in southwest Miami-Dade, which would explain.
Yes. Body language.
Correct. Lack of running.
Yeah. Yep.
But still, it looks like perhaps they're still going to check out every building. They've got K-9.
And these guys right here are coming from that area that we were showing you for extensively there, that building there. They've pulled off from that building. That's where those the American flags are, right there in the center of the screen there. So that area that they were concerned about appears to be that still may be the area where this all went down. We have not seen anybody make entry into the building from our vantage point. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but this appears that, as you said, if that's confirmed, we get that confirmed, then we know that the threat is no longer viable, and that's really good news.
This is true. Again, if you're just now joining us, there was a shooting in southwest Miami-Dade maybe 50 minutes ago in the warehouse district right off of Bird Road, very close to the Palmetto Expressway, in the 7300 block there of 45th Street. We had reports that at least 4 people were shot. Don't know the condition of them. But we do know, according to our sources, that the shooter is dead. SRT is on the scene, K9's on the scene. As Ralph has said, multiple jurisdictions are also responding to this very, very large active police scene and investigation. Miami-Dade Fire and Miami-Dade Police are also on the scene. We saw this helicopter and just waiting there at Tropical Park on a field to transport anybody who was injured, because it looked like police weren't sure what they were going to deal with. They went in. Go ahead, Ralph.
Lynn, again, I've kind of seen things here just like on a little bit of a delay, but center of the screen just moments ago, they landed a drone right there. So this is the area where that drone we mentioned before. You see the officer bending over there to pick it up. It was flying in this area right here. Mark, can we go forward just a little bit? Can we just inch forward? I just want to look down this entryway to this building here. It says applause your pause. Okay, this building right here. We keep going forward here, and we'll look straight down here. So hang with us for a second. We just want to see if this is going to develop into anything here as far as
while you're looking, Ralph, the sheriff is
Sure.
also on the scene, so gathering information and maybe talk to reporters about exactly what happened to get more detailed information. Interesting. I mean, drones are somewhat recently a new piece of equipment for first responders. And I imagine they used everything to try to find this gunman who we believe was hiding somewhere in these buildings.
Yeah. Hang on one second. Mark, could we slide to the north? I just want to look around the corner of this building right here. I'm talking to Mark Lewis, our pilot here. He's getting us configured here. He's got to deal with several other helicopters, drones, and everything else that's up right now. So
we can see at the bottom of your screen several police officers standing there.
Hang on one second here. We're going to get a look right there towards the front of the building. And again, this may just be, part of their checking things out. So.
Right.
So, yeah, that parking area right there appears to be clear. Let me see. We've got a vehicle parked right there.
So this is the north side.
Yeah, we're actually now looking from the west to east there. There's a tower there at the corner of the Palmetto and Bird Road right there. So officers, set up in this area right here. We're gonna do a sweep all the way around. Mark, can you do it in a big orbit?
So you were looking at a drone. Is that what you're focusing on?
Yeah, we were focusing on the drone that was up there. We were looking for it for a long time. When I saw it, it was just getting ready to land. So kind of a day late there on that, but. Area that the police initially responded to, a block or two off of Bird Road right here. All these, as we mentioned earlier, all these auto parts and car repair places and car sales, all the fire rescue initially responded right here to this area. This is where they set up, and it was in this area when we first arrived here on the scene that we saw police tending to an injured person, trying to get them to a fire rescue vehicle. Had suffered some kind of injury there in this what appears to be a multiple person shot. A suspect, somebody, according to information that we're developing here, is no longer with us. That person is deceased. So
it will be interesting to find out, which we will, who the gentleman was that was being rushed by police about a half hour ago that you captured for us. His hands appeared to be in handcuffs. This person. We're hearing what you see on the screen there. Sources say the shooter is dead. Singular, shooter. Don't know who they escorted out of the building. We'll certainly get information from police shortly.
What we're doing here, Lynn, is we're now on the north side of that property, that grayish white building there with the flags. This is looking now from the north down to south. We'll be pulling up on this alleyway here that they seem to be concentrating their efforts on. Saw those officers enter that building. They used a heavy sledgehammer and a crowbar to open up one of the doors there to go inside. We saw a K9 officer take his dog in there. We saw them go in with pipe poles, which is usually indicative of their searching up in the crawl spaces and drop ceilings, places like that where someone might hide. And maybe 20 minutes after that occurred was when you reported that information that they may have the person that they were looking for was no longer with us. I think I said that earlier. So anyway, that's where we are right now.
So you're swinging around. I see what you're doing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. It is such a large area. So to your right is for viewers now just joining us.
You see all these vehicles with the doors open here. They checked every single one of these cars.
Okay.
That's what they were doing when they were coming back in here. They were looking to not only underneath, but in the trunks and in the back seats and stuff of anything with tinted windows or whatever was getting a good hard look at that time. But yeah, this is as you said, it seems to have calmed down considerably at this point, and we're not seeing any more fire rescue units in this area right now. The ones that were deployed have all done their pickups, and that's where we are. But look at all those police officers' vehicles there on there.
Such a huge response. Huge response. If you're just now joining us on television or if you're listening to us online, we've been covering for the past, I want to say 50 minutes or so, like within the hour, we got reports that 4 people were shot in this warehouse district, very close to Bird Road there in southwest Miami-Dade and close to the Palmetto Expressway. Again, this is a warehouse district. We got reports that 4 people were shot by a gunman wearing a mask and using a rifle. There was such a large police presence because of many reasons. 4 people were shot, and then also for a good 40 minutes, police were looking for that suspect. And now we're hearing word, our sources say the shooter is dead. Don't know the condition of those 4 people or so who were shot, but it looks like they are going building to building to clear each building with SRT and K9, and the area is still closed and probably will be for some time. To your left is a live picture of the scene, Ralph swinging around, and to the right is video we just turned around. It's only about 25 minutes old, so you can see SWAT running in. Again, it bears repeating because this is such a busy area there in southwest Miami-Dade. Bird Road is always busy. So this area is blocked off from southwest 70th to 75th Avenue. From southwest 40th to 48th Street is also currently closed. Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is urging everybody to stay out of the area and, of course, seek different routes. To the left is a live picture. Look at that large. Go ahead, Ralph. Crowd.
No, I was just going to say that, coming around the trees here, we see a large group of folks here, possibly employees or shoppers or folks that had business in this area here. I think that they're all going to be ID'd and spoken to as far as if they saw anything, heard anything, what their business was in this area at this hour. Just make sure that they're not involved in any way, and if they are, if they get the proper treatment, proper counseling, whatever it is that they would need in that kind of a situation. But yeah, there's a group there on the corner, and that's on the same corner of that building that we were focusing on the entire time. And I can't tell if these guys are just hitching a ride back to their own vehicles or if they're continuing to do searching there, the guys that are on the hood of that vehicle there. But we've done a 360 around, and we're coming back up on the south side here.
And that's going to take time, that part of the investigation. As we saw in those live pictures from Ralph, I don't know, maybe there looks like 18 people, 20 people that they would presumably talk to, get information from, witnesses maybe, or what did you see, what did you hear, why were you here, as other groups still work to clear the area. And we see another police car come in. The response was just incredible. Dozens and dozens of first responders.
Yeah. Just another note to share with you that we showed you the air rescue helicopter over Tropical Park. They are returning to base. They're not going to be involved in any transport, so I guess that's good news too.
So, and again, as we've said, the fact that they had a rescue helicopter on standby, engine running, ready to transport anybody who might be injured, tells you what kind of stressful situation and dangerous situation police were dealing with, or at least they believe they were dealing with, as they were searching for this gunman who, as we've been telling you, our sources say, is deceased. We don't know the condition of the 4 people who were shot. That information will come out, we assume, shortly. We have several reporters on the story right now and on the scene doing their own investigation. We know that the sheriff's office and the sheriff is also on the scene. Perhaps there'll be a news conference, or at least speaking to reporters shortly to get more information. But the good news is it looks like that area is secured. Of course, our hearts go out to the victims, people who were shot and people who saw what happened and had the daylight scared out of them, no doubt. People just doing their job here on a Thursday afternoon. And that's video on the right, as we've been saying, police escorting this particular man out of this building. His hands were behind his back, so we're assuming that they were handcuffed or, confined in some way. We don't know who that person is or if the person was involved in the shooting in any way. We are assuming that this man coming out of the building, as Ralph has been telling us, probably works there. Ralph used the word civilian. It's true, work there, or maybe a customer, and given instructions, put your hands up. It looks like there's 2 people there. I didn't notice that till now. Somebody right behind them with their hands on their heads. So, looking to the left, that's our live picture. And again, a lot has calmed down after we hear that the shooter is dead.
Right.
But
yeah, we're hearing that they're calling for different groups that are here for what they call rally points. That's where they go afterwards to debrief. They got to get every officer's name and the situation, where they were when the call came out, what they did, what their involvement was. All that information has to be filed, and then of course their leaders, their SWAT commanders, and everybody else. They'll take a look at how the response was and time-wise, and look at the timeline. They have everything is recorded now, so they can scrutinize it and make improvements where improvements need to be made, and move forward.
How many? I'm just amazed at the response. How many cars? There were quite a few unmarked police cars as well. I was going to ask you, how many officers do you think responded?
I'm not exaggerating if I say there's in the hundreds.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's just in this area right here, from the bottom of the screen here, working northbound. You can just kind of take a look at all the cars on either side of the roadway, all the way up here, and then they just start to multiply in here all the way up. And that's just on the west side here, going up. Just this camera just keeps going up and up, pointing up and up. And there's that group of folks, be the perimeter in there. And then all the vehicles that are along the south side here, in there. There's just one after another. All the officers there. Then in the individual service bays and those places there. So all the way around, there's just a boatload of cars.
And the cars that we saw in your shot just 15 seconds ago are police cars, or unmarked police cars.
Pretty much.
So this area, nobody's going anywhere in this area that's a regular person. The area is blocked off, and whoever
I would
works there
say,
is outside of the building.
Right. Lynn, I'd say that unless you have business here, because they're going to ask to see ID, and they're only going to let people in that have business here, anywhere from the Palmetto on Bird Road eastbound to 72nd is going to be you're just not going to be able to get in that area right now.
So this happened about an hour ago. If you're just joining us, or we got word that there was this shooting, broad daylight, Thursday afternoon in the warehouse district there in southwest Miami-Dade. These are live pictures of all the police activity and all the police response that is still is beginning this investigation. 7300 block of 45th Street, very close to the Palmetto Expressway, as we've been saying, and Bird Road, which is always pretty busy. 911 got a call that a gunman with a rifle and a mask shot several people. We are hearing at least 4 people were shot. We don't know the condition of those 4 people. We will know eventually. And police were looking, there was such a large response. Police were looking for this gunman for about, it seems like 45 minutes. SRT responding, K9 responding, Miami-Dade Fire, Miami-Dade Police. As Ralph said, other jurisdictions responding. We saw SRT running from building to building, breaking down or busting open one door. That's what they do, trying to secure and look for this gunman, secure the area and look for the gunman. That was pretty intense. And as we've been saying, things have really calmed down since we got word that the shooter is dead. But the investigation is just now beginning. We saw live pictures from Ralph of it looks like a large group of people, possibly people in the area at the time of the shooting who are going to be witnesses. Maybe they worked there, they saw what happened, they heard what happened, who will be able to provide police with information for their investigation. The area, as we've been saying, is still blocked off and probably will be for quite some time, we assume for most of the day, because there's a lot of work to be done. Stay out of the area from Southwest 70th to 75th Avenue, and also from 40th to 48th Street. Those two large 8 blocks on one side, 5 blocks on the other side are closed because of this investigation. And the focus was mainly on this building. As you can see, here's a door that's open. Police are standing there. That's the same door they went in initially, I believe, Ralph.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't know where this gunman is or what happened, like how this person died, but we will find out. But they, as we've been saying, Ralph showed us a live picture of a police helicopter, or rescue helicopter, I should say, nearby in Tropical Park, just parked there waiting to transport anybody who might be gravely wounded as they were searching for this gunman. Since then, Ralph's told us that the helicopter has taken off, the shooter is dead, and there's nobody to be transported or given aid to.
Right.
But this
Hey,
is the
Lynn,
building.
just something else just to add again, because a lot of the information that we develop from listening to the different police departments and law enforcement and other agencies, fire rescue folks like that, Coast Guard, whoever's involved wherever we are. But the comments and the business, the activity on those radios has died down significantly from what we were hearing earlier. So that's just another thing to add to it.
So K9 still.
Here's another K9, and again they just continue. This is what they're doing is they were the area we were focused on was what we were calling that inner perimeter. In other words, an area that they were it was like a hard focus. That's where they pretty much knew things were happening, and now they've moved off to the outer perimeter. This is where no civilians were going to get any closer than this area here, but they're still kind of backtracking there and looking around just to make sure that they've got all their ducks in a row.
Oh, so this is a different K9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's maybe 4 or 5 that we heard on the radio.
Wow. So they're such a large area to secure.
And they could be doing anything from looking for a suspect to looking for a weapon. Some of the dogs are trained for explosives and for they can find a handgun or a weapon or a bullet or whatever that's been dropped, and so they're just we don't know specifically what they're doing, but they are obviously just taking a more than a cursory look here at this building here, which is off to the east side of what was the inner perimeter. So.
And it'll be interesting to find out, which we will shortly, we believe, exactly where this shooting occurred and exactly how this gunman, we assume, got into that building and may still be there.
Yeah. Let me throw this map up here. I don't know if it's going to help you guys out at all, but here, let me see. I got to go destination 9, source 7. And now you should see some numbers pop up here, and it'll show you where 73rd Avenue is and Southwest 45th Street, which is the area that they were focusing on. That was where all the chatter was and all the comments were being made on the radio for everybody to respond to. So 45th Street's right in the middle where that SWAT truck is. 73rd is on the far side of that building that we were referencing continuing. And now what we've got is we've got another group of civilians. All these folks are being let out from the area right across the street from where we believe that all the shooting took place. Right there you can see
looks like there's a little
appears
girl.
to be walking with her guardian or with her mom or aunt or somebody there, a friend, being let out by the police folks there, taken over. I believe they're going to walk them over to that same area, that same group, and again they'll do the same thing. They're going to ID everybody, and they're going to make sure that they're able to make a statement if they did see anything, or if they were peering out a window and saw something or heard something, whatever. They're going to just part of the process that they go through, and they go through this with every shooting that occurs.
Just your heart goes out for a child or anybody involved in
Right.
Such a traumatic and scary event. Looks like some of them have their hands up. Maybe they're being told, keep your hands up. I'm not sure. It looks like the guardian or the mother is holding the little girl's hand, or was.
She's carrying a dog.
Oh, okay, carrying a dog. Wow.
I think she is.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
it. So there's an officer behind them, an officer in front of them. Yeah, interesting. Your hands up. That's got to be awful. I'm sure they're thanking their lucky stars today. So behind them, I'm going to, just real quick, because I want to get to some video we have for you, but behind them, is that it looks like I want to say like a coffee shop or something? If you zoom out a little bit, like where all this happened, like where they came from. Maybe I'm making that up. Okay, right there to the top. I'm just curious where they came
That
from.
place right there?
To your left. It looked like, where all the police officers were concentrating, where you put the numbers, the street numbers, right up there
Right.
at the top of the screen. No, I guess it's just that business, correct?
Oh, there.
It's that, a lawnmower, okay. Metals, ironworks. All right, just a regular shop.
More shops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while we stay with these live pictures, I want to share some video with our viewers who are now going. Our first video I have not seen it, so we'll watch this together of the shooting.
Olvídate los carros.
Ya los chicos corriendo, ¿no?
Mira,
los chicos
güey,
como estaban jugando al lado.
¿Cómo? Lo tenía secuestrado, no lo dejaba ir y apuntando.
¿Quién, hermano?
Olvídate los carros.
Okay, now it's just repeating.
Ya los chicos corriendo, ¿no?
Okay, so this is our first video we've gotten in. Obviously, it's cell phone video. Workers in that shop heard gunshots and whipped out their cameras. They were shocked, just like anybody else would be. And we heard at least 12 shots there. As we look at live pictures of somebody being escorted by police, it could just be exactly what Ralph's been saying. These could be witnesses or people to talk to. Obviously, they have to frisk them and make sure they're safe to talk to or get information from. So this is the beginning of the investigation. So that just, this looks like this is video from when police initially arrived. Maybe police exchanged gunfire, but we did hear 12 shots from something. And they were watching, look how close they are to them. And they're running, they're narrating what they're seeing. Can't believe it. Yeah, and just don't know where the shots are coming from. So, but that's definitely a close perspective of what sounds like a shootout. Definitely a shooting there in Southwest Miami-Dade. Our first video, I believe, there you go. There's a courtesy only in Dade. So that's what happens now. People whip out their phones and record what we would never be able to get of this tragic and dangerous, scary scene happen right in front of them. So this is a live picture of yet another canine going in a different part of the warehouse. So Ralph, while we were looking at that video, you were showing us live pictures of more what appears to be more regular people
Yes.
coming in groups?
Just civilians being escorted out from wherever they were shopping, working, wherever they're employed there along this row. Here's another one here, another canine officer here, and they're checking all the buildings. It's part of being the thoroughness of the job there, just to make sure that everybody's safe and they didn't miss anything. So, and if they find somebody, they'll say, "What are you doing here?" "I work here. I was shopping." Da da da, and they bring them out. And they just kind of walk everybody over here. Just saw one of the county sheriff's support vehicles here, right here. It's kind of like a little mini office there, and it says Mobile Operations Center there on the side of it, and they'll set up somewhere along here to help process those folks there. As you can see right now, they're leading a group back towards where they work. Either maybe have already been identified, or they're just taking them back over here to a more secure area. But you can see the people walking across the street there right near the telephone pole, back across the street there to the east.
I mean, we're watching basically a live investigation in real time. Big props, big respect to the gravity and the scale of the situation for police and first responders, and the amount of people they have to talk to.
Sure, I suspect what they're doing is they're taking them into the air conditioning, because it's hot out here.
Yeah.
And those folks are sitting there. There was no shade where they were sitting to probably get them inside, get them some water, let them cool out a little bit, and then take their statements.
Right. Yeah. Most definitely, they probably don't want another transport. But this area is so large, this warehouse district, it looks like there are dozens and dozens of potential witnesses and regular people, maybe customers, workers doing their job when the shooting occurred. So we just saw a video a few moments ago, a cell phone video of what the perspective of some workers, there it is to your right, Ralph's live picture is to your left, who may have been in that, I don't know, auto repair shop. There's an auto repair shop and a ironworks store very nearby. It looks like auto. And there you see guns drawn, police running for cover. Oh, that's the lawnmower place. That's the lawnmower repair place. Right, remember I asked you to take a zoom in on that? Okay, so that is the area where this happened. Sort of like it's right here.
It is right
Yeah,
next
that's
door to
where it
the. It is right next door to that building that we were focused on. So. Right.
Okay. So at least there was definite police activity right in front of these riding lawnmowers. It's just so shocking that, I don't know, at home and if you're listening. Yeah, everybody lined up.
Yep.
Okay, so they're getting instructions. It looks like with your hands up. Not that they're, I would assume that's for safety reasons. We saw some, as Ralph says, civilians, such a funny word to me, but it's true. Civilians, regular people, frisked, pants checked, shirts checked before they talk to them and lead them into anywhere. Because they just don't know. They don't know what they're dealing with. And canines walking with them, an abundance of caution, a police officer with a long rifle behind, lots of police presence. So looks like they're leading them into an area, and Ralph and I had surmised they'll talk to them and get their witness statements and hear what they saw and heard, and get their name, address, etc. And maybe they're going to take them into the air conditioning as well. What a scary day for everybody involved, for the innocent people who, we assume innocent people who were shot, for these workers, these guys recording the shooting right outside of their business. My goodness, as police were trying to get the gunman. So we'll find out what was going on here. Did they have their eyes on the gunman? Who was shooting? The gunman ran away. We assume into that building that they came out of, that we've been watching for the past hour or so, that building. We'll definitely get a lot of information. So you heard at least 12 pops go off there. And a little bit of cursing. Who can blame them? Pretty shocking and scary. I'm just surprised they're just so close to the entry there. On the left is a live picture from Ralph Rayburn and our pilot there. It looks like police are leading yet another large group. Looks like they're going to talk to every single person in this area. Every single person in this warehouse district has to come out, or they got them out of their buildings, and they're going to talk to every single person. What did you see? Where were you? Who are you? All this for their investigation, because there are a lot of people involved. Even if they didn't see what happened or even heard what happened, they're there. So they're going to want to talk to them. The area is still...
Lynn, I could confirm, give you a little bit of, just a tiny bit of information here. This will be a police-involved shooting issue.
Okay.
I can tell you that much from what I'm hearing.
Well, we did see, you can see police officers in that cell phone video, and we did hear several rounds of gunfire. So if you're hearing this is a police-involved shooting, that would make sense with the video that we're seeing.
Right. Right.
And we'll find out
The specifics, so give us
right, exactly, how this
sure.
gunman
Right.
died and what the situation was, but intense. So to your left is Ralph's live picture. I've never seen that particular kind of rescue truck, but nonetheless, they're on the scene. We also know that the sheriff is on the scene as well. It's Miami-Dade Fire. Maybe they work with TRT there. Looks like bulletproof glass. But yeah, it was all hands on deck to respond to this reports of multiple people shot. So this is a live picture of, again, these are, it looks like mostly men being let out, going to be talked to. We've got reporters on the scene. We've got 7's Michael Hudak. He's there on the ground. We see you, Michael, to our left, and we keep our eyes on the live picture to our right. We see her off the side of the road. Tell us what you know.
So I want to give you guys a vantage point of where we are right now. We're on Southwest 72nd Avenue, right by where Bird Road was closed off. And the pandemonium that you guys were showing from the air, I can definitely echo that here where we are over to the side here on Southwest 72nd Avenue. So I want to give you some preliminary information. We have been in contact with the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office. They are investigating this shooting where it was around 73rd Avenue and Southwest 45th Street. As we have mentioned in the last couple of minutes on air here with you, you can see that Bird Road closure there, the state trooper blocking that off. A police source has confirmed with 7 News, quote, the shooter is dead. We can report that from a police source right now. We're trying to get to a media staging area around the Chevron. That's going to be at Southwest 76th Avenue, where we will get a little bit more information. I've been in contact as well because, as you've been showing in that video, the cell phone video from the scene of where this happened, there's a lot of businesses in that kind of industrial plaza. There's a couple of businesses there. There's a Pro Train gym. There's an Idle Cheer where young people, kids, were training at the time. I spoke with the business owner there at Idle Cheer. His name was Jose, and he was telling me over the phone that they had to kind of bunker down and hide in place while this entire scene played out. Now, live here back out at Southwest 72nd Avenue, you can see an influx of Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office cruisers coming through this area to Bird Road to try to get into that area. The Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office also confirming that several people injured in this shooting. We have not heard a number. We have not gotten any reports on the ground here of just how severe it is. But, you know, we do in this industry, we're on these kinds of areas and these kinds of shootings, these scenes on a daily basis, it seems like these days. And you can just tell by the severity, the amount of police presence, the amount of law enforcement, the amount of the road closures. This is a big deal. This is a serious situation here. So we are going to try to make our way to the media staging area, which is about 4 avenues from where we are right now. This is still an active, ongoing situation here, so we will keep you updated as we learn more. We are live in Southwest Miami-Dade. Michael Hudak, 7 News.
Thank you, Michael. To you and your photographer, we'll let you hustle over there to try to get some information. It looks like you may have to walk. We saw from Michael's pictures there, looks like a state trooper is blocking off that area still. Live pictures right now, looks like a man and his dog and some other people being led by police, possibly to investigate. They too were holed up. How frightening for everybody. Michael was just talking about another business that's close to Bird Road that was also affected either by road closures or by hearing what was happening. Unfortunately, we do hear about shootings, it seems like every few minutes. But now here it is in their backyard. This is a live picture. Oh, the railroad track is very close to them. So, Raph, what are you looking at?
That lawnmower service operation there, we noticed that there were a number of people coming out of that building and the building adjacent to it. So we're just doing a little run down the property line there to see if there was anything around the back that we had missed earlier, and so far no. But again, we talked about the scope of this operation and what a huge area that the police and sheriff's department folks there had to cover when something like this happens. And of course, it's as you said earlier, most people going to work don't anticipate something like this occurring. So it causes I'm sure some chaos there for the people on the ground.
Oh, yeah, chaos and stress. So this is behind the building. Ralph is focusing, for those viewers and listeners, he's focusing on this building because that is that lawnmower business is where we got our first video from the men who were inside recording on their phones the shooting. And it's quite a large building, as we can see from these live pictures. So this is the front of it to the right. And this is where our first video came in of what is now a police-involved shooting, and you can see it for yourself. Hearing at least 12 gunshots, people running. Look at that, pedestrians just running. Gosh, how scary. So just to recap, what you're looking at on the right, as we said, it appears to be a police-involved shooting there in Southwest Miami-Dade in this warehouse district. Broad daylight, around 1 o'clock or 1:10 in the afternoon here on a Thursday. Reports that a gunman with a long, could be just an automatic weapon or a rifle, but a long weapon with a mask on, went shooting at people in this area of Southwest Miami-Dade, 7300 block of 45th Street. We heard initially there were 4 people shot. We know right now there was a time, like 45 minutes or so, the police were looking for the gunman. So we have that video from those witnesses who shot that on their phone. We saw police running. You know, did the gunman take off into this building, which is what they were concentrating on for a good 45 minutes, and then we heard that the gunman is dead. We don't know where the shooter is right now, the body of the shooter. It could be in that building to the left where they're still at, and where they've been concentrating on. Looks like they went through some cars. Those doors weren't open earlier, Ralph. None of those doors were open. Okay.
No. They opened them just to go inside and do their look-see, what was if there was anything to be seen in that area. But as you mentioned earlier, everything kind of the big arrow here is pointing towards this area here, 7315, which I think is the number, the original number that was posted on the fire screen. It may have changed to 7215, but 7315 was the area where they said that the shooter was a man wearing a mask, carrying a rifle, and apparently firing shots towards in the direction of the building. That's what we heard. By the time we got here, the Sheriff's Department officers arrived en masse, armed to the teeth, and secured the area, running towards danger, which is, what they do.
Right.
And along with the fire rescue personnel that responded out here, and what we heard was that at the onset there, they could see someone who had suffered a male that had suffered some head trauma, appeared to be bleeding from the head, laying out, appeared to be unconscious, and they hustled up and got a vehicle and used that as a shield and went in several officers and dragged that person out and to get them to safety and to get them some treatment. And of course we've reported our initial reports were that there were 4 people shot, and then a little bit later we heard that there were 6 people involved total. So of course we're going to get some confirmation on that, but it seems to be what they're sticking to so far as far what happened out here. So, and then as you said, it was a while of intense activity there with police officers running all over the place and breaking down some doors and checking ceilings inside buildings, and canine officers deploying their dogs, and then we got word from what we believe is a reliable source that the suspect was dead on the scene. And a little later, we're hearing information that this would become a police-involved incident. So that's where we are.
And we have confirmation that the suspect is a male. Just a little bit of a nugget of information here as we look at this live picture of the now well-known lawnmower repair area where this it almost looks like it's like the center of everything here. There's parking.
It's like a giant cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it does. Like where you could turn it on. There is like a little circle there where police are standing. So they are currently, police officers and investigators are currently speaking to, looks like dozens of people, witnesses who saw or heard what happened. They're in, as Ralph mentioned, the AC of one of these buildings being talked to. We saw all kinds of people come out of those buildings, including, it looks like a little girl, maybe 8 years old. Saw a few people with dogs, just doing their life on a Thursday afternoon, middle of the day there in Southwest Miami-Dade. Ralph, did you want to say something?
I did. I was talking to our pilot, Mark Lewis. He just confirmed the aviation units that were flying in on this indicate that their search, that their part of the operation is complete now. So they're into the detail portion of this event.
Okay. All right. We're going to stay with your live pictures, Ralph. I want to go back to Michael Hudak, who's on the ground there, very close to the scene. He's got information and an interview. Michael.
That's right. One thing that you guys have been able to paint the picture of in the last couple of minutes is just how many businesses were in that area and all the people being escorted out of those businesses, and how people were just trying to live their normal lives on a Thursday. And then all of this chaos unfolded. One of the businesses that is right next door to 7300 Southwest 45th Street, where the first calls came in, is a gym. I'm standing here with who I believe is the owner of the gym, correct?
Yes, John.
Tell us who you are.
I'm John Tadero. I'm the owner of Pro Train here in Miami.
So in terms of the proximity, you've seen the videos and stuff. How close is your business to where this happened?
I mean, it's right there.
Right next door, would you say?
Yeah.
So tell me what you were seeing. I mean, you got calls from your employees. What was going through your heart and your mind as you learned what was happening?
Well, I'm just thankful that, they got the shooter and everybody's safe. We train young athletes to reach their genetic potential, and it's unfortunate things like this happen, but you got to thank the boys in blue for this. We have here in Miami the best police department in the country.
So what did you see and what did you hear from the people that were inside of that building at the time?
I mean, not a lot has really been known, but I know that there's an active shooter out there, and it's created a lot of chaos and stuff. But what I can tell you is that this is as a community, this is the strongest community in the country, and we're gonna rise above this, and I'm just thankful that they got the guy.
How many businesses would you say are in that plaza?
I mean, we have over 15 businesses in that plaza, mine being one of them, and thankfully there was no kids there, and nobody was hurt on
on your end at least. We have heard reports that several people were injured in this shooting around that area. What goes through your heart and your mind knowing that those might be some of your colleagues, some of your people you see on a daily basis?
I'm thankful nobody is hurt on our end, and we're with everybody that has been injured and been this is affected. and we're with you 100% of the way. We're here as a community, and we stand together.
Have you been in contact with any other business owners in that plaza, and do you talk to them regularly? What are they saying?
Everybody on our end, we're really close with First Round Management, and everybody there is safe. I've talked to everybody on there. We're close with the cheer. Everybody is safe.
So tell my audience, paint the picture a little bit of what kind of businesses are around you there.
It's mostly athletic-based businesses. We have the cheerleading gym and we have the speed gym. So we're geared towards kids, and we have the baseball facility there. It's all, really kids in that complex that we train in it. Thankfully, this happened before the times of when most people, when our clients get there.
Okay, so thank you very much. We're going to talk to you a little bit later as well. We're glad to hear that everyone in your establishment and some of the surrounding businesses are okay. We'll send it back to you for now.
Michael Hudak, thank you so much for that live interview. And he just, with that interview, he just brings to light just how violence and a shooting like this affects so many people. In Michael's interview, the man just said that they mainly train with children and with the cheerleading camp and other athletic facilities nearby that focus on kids. He brought up a good point. Thank goodness it wasn't in the afternoon where a lot of kids are. It's never a good time for violence. That video, we've shown what you just saw several times, and it bears repeating. I'm sure we'll find out information on who that person was that police let out. This is video taken about an hour ago when police, SRT, broke down this door and jammed their way in, which is what they trained to do. This is the building that they focused on right after the shooting when they were looking for the gunman. So they got the door open. They didn't break it down, but they busted open the mechanism there that keeps it closed. And then shortly after they went in, secured the area, they led 2 people out of this building with their hands up. Maybe they were people just working there, maybe they were customers, but they were not handcuffed and they were not, hurriedly or pushed into a police car. They were led out of the building, given instructions. Okay, so there's 3 people. Okay, 3 people were led out of that building. It's unclear right now if where the gunman died. This is the building they were focusing on, and where they led these people out. We assume they were civilians, regular people, but we don't know where the gunman died. We do know that the shooter is dead, and this is video somewhat recently into the 7 Newsplex of just people hearing this police-involved shooting, whipping out their phones. This is the inside of what looks to be a lawnmower repair business. Look at that. You can see, this is their perspective. Regular people running in regular clothes, see, right there in the plaid shirt, and police, guns drawn, and then you hear several gunshots, at least 12. Unclear where they came from. But we know this was a police-involved shooting. We know that the shooter is dead. We know that at least 4 people were shot. We don't know their condition, the condition they're in. And now we have some live pictures of Ralph of the situation. So that's our first incredible
On our shot. We need to be
video
on our shot.
Yes, go ahead, Ralph.
Hi. Center of the screen.
Yeah.
Just behind the police officer with the helmet on talking to the other guy. On the ground, where the busted glass is, appears to be a weapon.
Yeah, see a handgun on the
see
ground.
it?
Yep, in the center of the screen.
Right
Yes.
one of the places where they seem to be the heaviest concentration of activity. We're trying to position ourselves here best we can. Let me check the focus here, because
So this, Ralph, while you get your bearings there in the shot that shows, look at that. So there's glass on the ground. This is the door that they were focused on going in, the back door, and when they came out.
yeah, slide just right, just a touch, Mark.
Okay, so you can see all that glass.
See the door?
In the French door is broken, and then the weapon we just saw from out. It was right on the. He's going to swing around. You'll see it right in the center of your screen. Looks like a handgun.
More forward. You got it. He's coming.
Ralph is talking to his pilot. Okay, there you go. You can see the weapon to the left. There you go, center of the screen. You had a great shot initially. That's okay. We saw a handgun on the ground, for sure. So they're surrounding this very important, looks to be piece of evidence. And Is the gunman's body near that weapon on the ground somewhere? We don't know. We'll find out. But nobody's going in right now.
Yeah, they have gone in. We've actually saw them go in, and a couple people that I know from a couple of local agencies did go in, and they're part of their charge with that. Sorry about that. Part of they're charged with that responsibility of investigating these kind of events. So, yeah, that's what led us to
this could be where the shooting ended.
It could be, yeah.
We will find out. But so you have 4 police officers standing.
Yeah, and they're kind of blocking the view right there. But
this is where it happened. Something happened here, for sure.
Just to the right of it, it appears that there's a handgun on the ground there in that broken glass from when they made entry in. And we're almost it's almost time for us to go get some fuel. So we're going to sign off on the mic here for a while. Then thank you.
Thank you, Ralph, for your efforts here, and thank you for this live picture of the weapon. The first time we've seen a handgun, glass broken, where we believe the shooting ended. And you see police officers. Ralph, you got to go when you need to go. I don't want you to be in any danger. We have plenty of video and other things. You saw police officers congratulating and, fist bumping and saying hello and greeting. From their perspective, this must be a good ending. They got their suspect, their gunman. The alleged gunman is dead. At least four people we know were shot. We don't know their condition, but their job was to find the gunman, secure the area. There were dozens and dozens of innocent people in this very large warehouse district in Southwest Miami-Dade that they have to protect. And it appears they did. So as we look at video here this was, I want to say, right when we got there, about an hour and 15 minutes ago, before we knew the gunman was dead. Let's go back to Michael Hudak. He is on the ground there, live on the scene. He's got an update. Michael?
And I think part of the reason why some of those officers were congratulatory at the end there of that video, you can see them fist bumping, as you mentioned, is because of what they arrived to. And something that we often use in our stories here at WSVN and some of our pieces is this thing called Broadcastify. It's basically police scanner. It's not confirmed information. But I got to tell you at least what we heard on that police scanner as we were driving down here and kind of listening to the playback. Not only was it an active situation, they were discussing on the police scanner that they were possibly dealing with someone that was entering that property trying to get in, wearing a ski mask, long handguns. They also mentioned verbatim that police might have been involved in a shootout, which we now know to be true through the video and the information that we've gotten from the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office. They arrived to absolute pure chaos in a place, as you guys have mentioned, that had dozens and dozens of just normal bystanders, people operating their businesses. And as you heard from the business owner that we spoke to in a live interview roughly 5 to 10 minutes ago, there were a bunch of kids that were supposed to be in that same exact plaza right around the time, a couple hours after this happened, into the afternoon. I think school lets out and then the kids go there for extracurricular activities. They've got a gym there. They've got that cheerleading facility there as well. I want to give you some perspective of where we are right now. The traffic still backed up, but also moving a little bit smoother than it was before. This is Southwest 72nd Avenue, where you see all those state troopers and where you see the road blocked off. That is Bird Road. That's 40th Street. So we were not able to get through Bird Road. It's closed from 72nd Avenue all the way to 83rd Avenue on the other side of the Palmetto. So we have been dealing with quite a traffic jam out here, but it's nothing in comparison to the chaos of the videos that you've seen, the images that you've seen from that complex, from really what is like an industrial complex where you saw all of those businesses operating and everything like that. We've seen so many people in vans and work trucks, even, parents with small kids in the back seat driving down this road here, 72nd Avenue Southwest, rolling down the window and asking, what happened? What in the world happened? That's how shocked they are to see something like this unfolding in their own backyard. And some of these families that we're seeing in these vehicles, they might even have been on their way to where this happened to maybe drop their kids off for athletic activities or whatever the case may be. So still an active situation from out here. We can at least tell you that a police source has confirmed with 7 News the shooter is dead. We have mentioned that a couple of times here on air with you in our continuous coverage, and that is something that is a silver lining in this situation. Now, I've also been in contact with a source at the hospital where these patients are being treated. They couldn't give me too much information at this point in time, but they say in a text message that multiple people are being treated for their injuries following this shooting here in Southwest Miami-Dade. So still many more questions and answers. Given the nature of what we heard on the police scanners, which again is not confirmed information, don't take it that way, but what we've heard on the police scanners has at least given us reason to believe this was a lot of malice and malicious intent from whoever entered this property and tried to inflict harm on the people inside of this property. So a motive, it's unknown, but it is clear there was a very violent anger that was there heading into this crime. So there are still many more questions and answers. Hopefully some of those answers will be heading our way in the next couple of hours as we learn more information from the public information officers from the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office. They have set up kind of a media staging area about 4 or 5 blocks from where we are, west of where we are. Traffic still backed up here. We will continue to bring you the latest on air and online as we learn more. We're live in Southwest Miami-Dade for now.
Michael, thank you so much for that. A little bit of information we want to pass along to our viewers. We know that a news conference is going to be happening shortly from the sheriff's office. We'll get more information. We're also hearing from our sources on the ground and our reporters that 3 people were transferred to HCH, including the shooter who was transported to the hospital there, who died at the hospital. So initially we were hearing 4 people were shot, and now we're getting confirmation that 3 people were transferred to HCH. Don't know their condition, but we do know the condition of the gunman. The shooter was transferred as well and died at the hospital. There was question as to why police not only were on the scene where Ralph was showing us a short time ago that handgun on the ground. There was a question whether or not the gunman was in that building at the time, and now we know he was transferred to the hospital, and that's where he died. And I just want to reiterate the area that Michael Hudak is in, that you really still want to avoid, because this investigation is very active and it's huge. This is video, SWAT and SRT running to secure buildings when they did not know where the shooter was. This was about an hour and a half ago, actually maybe 2 hours ago. It was very intense. Avoid the area still if you can. Southwest 70th to 75th Avenue, from Southwest 40th to 48th Street. It's currently closed, and you saw Michael Hudak on the side of the road there in Bird, which is always busy. You got state troopers rerouting traffic because this area is still obviously going to be under investigation, we assume, for many more hours. Police are talking to dozens of potential witnesses. We saw dozens of people being let out, regular people, maybe people working there, doing business there in this warehouse district, the people that the police want to talk to about what did you see, what did you hear, who are you, where do you live. We saw them come out with their hands up, which is protocol when dealing with a situation like this. This is video that's really interesting that we got in a little more than an hour ago. Police, before they found their gunman, rushed that man with the orange or red shirt out of this building, and it looked like his hands were behind his back. We don't know how he was related at all to the shooting. And then we also saw, of course, these 3 or 4, looks like regular people in this building with their hands up being led out, maybe not involved at all with the shooting. They just put their hands on top of their heads to make sure this area was secure. But that's the building where we saw that handgun on the ground, where police busted in. There you go. This was just from Ralph a few minutes ago. SWAT, they're sort of guarding this very active crime scene. A lot of glass on the ground. They busted through this door. Don't know whose handgun that is. Was it the gunman? Was it a police officer's? We don't know. But there you have it. The shooter is dead after a good 45 minutes of police looking for this gunman in this warehouse district. And some of the incredible video we got, the scene came from people inside that lawnmower repair place right here, their perspective. This police involved, it's not being called a police involved shooting. They hear pow pow, gun gun, or shooting, and they whip out their phones and they start recording. They can't believe what's happening. It's chaos. Police are running, and you even see this poor woman in the center of your screen running to get away. Looks like she has her purse on her and she's wearing like a plaid shirt. How stressful. I want to bring in my colleagues, Belkis Nure and Jack Royer on the desk. I'm out here in the Newsplex getting information, and I'll toss it to you guys.
Thanks, Lynn. In case you're just joining us, you are watching a special report here on 7 News, a shooting at a business in Southwest Miami-Dade. As you've heard Lynn say, the information that we've been able to confirm from Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, this is taking place in the area of Southwest 73rd Avenue and 45th Street. This was a shooting that started a little after 1 this afternoon, middle of the day, at a very active and busy industrial complex in Southwest Miami-Dade, where there are several different types of businesses that operate on what looks like some sort of like a dead-end sort of street there. Shooting took place at this business. Several people injured. We are hearing, not confirmed, but sources are telling 7 News that 4 people were shot, including the gunman, and sources are telling 7 News that that shooter has died from those gunshots. So this is now a Miami-Dade Sheriff active shooting, a police-involved shooting, and it does look like police have secured this area. They have their quote-unquote bad guy, but the scene out there is still very, very active.
We are awaiting at this hour a news conference, some sort of additional information from the Miami-Dade Sheriff. Here is a live look at that location where the media has been asked to set up, which is common in a situation like this. They're trying to gather information from this scene that is still relatively young. We're going on now 2 hours since this incident began, since the massive police response got underway, and now we await the sheriff or another representative of a law enforcement agency to update everyone on what has transpired here today. Again, we understand 3 people were transported to HCH Kendall. We understand that might even include the shooter, who we now believe died at the hospital as apparently a result of some kind of shootout involving law enforcement that responded to this scene. Still working to nail down some of those numbers. Here you see what Ralph Rayburn so keenly noticed from his eye in the sky, that handgun within this structure being secured by law enforcement in the aftermath of this shootout. You see the broken glass from that French door there, and what appears to be a handgun laying on the floor as it looks like SWAT team moved in. We've been showing you the dramatic images this afternoon, showing them running with someone across a parking lot. Earlier we saw them beating in a door. Here's that scene we are eager to ask law enforcement about. This transpired in the thick of this moments ago, and here they are trying to gain entry to this structure. Full SWAT team response here today. Very, very rapidly they operate. They move this way every time they're deployed to any scene. And like I told you a moment ago, now at 3:05, almost 3:06, we're hoping to hear from the sheriff with more information very soon.
Lynn Martinez, you've been on this since the very beginning. Walk us back a little. We heard reports that this gunman had a long gun. What do you know about what transpired? What have we been able to gather from our sources and everything else while we wait for the official information from Miami-Dade sheriffs?
Yeah, Belkis. So shortly after 1 o'clock, we heard reports that there were several people shot in this warehouse district, and that the gunman was still on the loose. And from our reports, from witnesses, they say they saw a man, one man, with a rifle. Now, this could be an automatic, some sort of long weapon, shooting at people. Broad daylight there in Southwest Miami-Dade in this warehouse district, and that he had a mask on of some sort. Was it like a regular COVID mask, or was it like a ski mask? We don't know. But the person just told police there's somebody here shooting with a rifle. that has a mask on. And the police response was very fast. And what you're looking at right here is our first video from witnesses' perspectives. And it shows you just, first of all, how chaotic the situation was, how quick police did respond, and how everybody was in danger. I mean, literally, it was like the OK Corral, which is shooting right outside of their business. There was a huge, and still is, massive police response, SRT, SWAT, K9, Miami-Dade Fire, Miami-Dade Police, state troopers. I thought there were dozens, but Ralph said he saw hundreds of police cars. There were a lot of unmarked police cars as well, because they didn't know where this guy was. And you can see right here, this is like a car repair place, and this is the situation maybe 15 minutes in. We saw SWAT running from building to building, and different teams of SWAT, different teams of SRT running from building to building, making entry, trying to secure what they could. And it was a good, stressful 40 minutes. And again, as Jack, you referenced this video too, it's very curious. We're curious to find out who this man is that they rushed out. He was the first person that we saw, looked to be in handcuffs, rushed out, and they were moving very, very quickly. They didn't have the suspect at that point. And this is one of the businesses. This is the building that they were focused on, and this is them breaking the handle of this door and busting in, which is what SRT does, and then shortly thereafter these civilians were taken out. So as far as we know, again, as we're expecting a news conference information from officials and from the sheriff shortly. From what we know, this was a lone gunman with a long weapon, a long rifle with a mask on, shooting at people in the middle of the day at this warehouse district in southwest Miami-Dade, which was packed with people doing their job, maybe dropping their car off to be repaired, and the next thing you know, they're quite literally running for their lives. And again, we are hearing this was indeed a police involved shooting. Let's listen to the sheriff.
I want to start by saying that this is going to be a brief statement and statement only. I will not be taking any questions. Earlier today, we received a 911 call of shots fired. When our deputies responded to the scene, they encountered 3 individuals that were in fact shot and injured. Those individuals were transported to a local hospital. Preliminary investigation has revealed that it appears that one of those people that was transported is in fact the shooter. I urge our community to know this information because they should feel calm. We want the community to know that right now there is no imminent threat. This is still a very active scene, as you can see. We will be working this for quite some time. We will be looking for additional victims to ensure that we are not missing anyone. And I ask the community, if there was anyone here that may have information or video, our investigators need that information, they can contact the sheriff's office or they can contact Crime Stoppers. Also, this is still active, and we do not, if you can stay out of this area, we would really appreciate that. It would help our investigation. And now I'll say it in Spanish.
Okay, so there you heard Rosie Cuderas-Stutz basically be very upfront, saying she's not taking any questions. She's going to just issue a statement. But the most poignant thing is she is asking of the public, first of all, to know there's no imminent threat. There's no danger. They have the gunman. The gunman is dead. But they're looking for additional information or video that maybe like this, you were there, you shot it on your phone, you heard something. They're urging you to share that video information with Crime Stoppers or the Sheriff's Department. We're going to keep our eyes on her news conference because if she takes questions, we'll go back to the sheriff. But she confirms that 3 people were taken to HCH there in Kendall, including the shooter, who it appears died at the hospital. The sheriff also wants, again, the public to know The area is off limits to anybody driving or wandering around. Stay out of the area. It's a very, very active investigation. Southwest 70th to 75th Avenue to 40th to 48th Street is currently closed and will be. So, and they're also looking for additional victims, maybe somebody who was shot or hurt and did not talk to police. So this investigation is just beginning, and it is quite large, Bell and Jack.
Amazing to think that in the middle of a day, in this busy area, that there's so many businesses, a lot of them open. We could see just from this, I think we said this was a lawnmower shop, you can see how many people are there, how many people, like, it's incredible to think that 3 people were shot, and they're not more casualties.
Right.
And of the 3, the shooter was shot as well. So it is incredible to think that number is low and single digit, and we don't have something worse, a bigger tragedy on our hands here. But the sheriff did say that this is still an active scene, and it's 2025. They are urging anyone that has any video that they please turn it over to police, because that will help them with their investigation. And she wants to drive the point home as well that the community is not in danger. Police responded, they did their job, they secured it, they got the shooter, and now is the long investigation. There's probably, if I had to guess, this is going to go on well into tonight. So.
And it strikes me, 1 week ago today, we're covering the tragedy at Florida State, a mass shooting there, a random act of violence that killed 2, injured more. And here we are 1 week later thinking of the reach of that campus, the many people in South Florida who knew somebody who might have been affected by that, and now hearing this troubling video, to hear this gunfire ring out at a place of business. Presumably customers are coming there to do their business, contractors are there, employees are there. We don't yet know the circumstances, of course, in detail behind these troubling images of people, in some cases likely running for their lives. That sound of gunfire that rings out as we listen to this video into the Newsplex this afternoon. But here we are covering this once again. What a tragedy of any magnitude, no matter what the details end up being. If you're just joining us here at 3:15, Jack Royer alongside Belkis Neray and Lynn Martinez, who's been covering this for now going on 2 hours, as this incident has left 2 people hospitalized and the shooter dead. Although we do not know the identities of any of these people, the sheriff's office has been very clear that as early in the investigation as we find ourselves, they are not going to be taking many questions, if any, or releasing much information beyond what you read on your screen there. No threat to the community ongoing. They believe the person who perpetrated this mass shooting is deceased, who died at HCA Kendall Hospital. We understand from sources, the sheriff only saying that 2 people plus the shooter, so 3 people in total, were taken to a local hospital. We understand that from other sources to be HCA Kendall, but the shooter did die at the hospital, and this again is the scene we're showing you on loop.
We had Ralph Rayburn over the scene as well in 7 Sky Force. He went to gas up, and he'll probably be back again. This is the whole area, as Lynn mentioned, between Southwest 70 and 75th Avenues to Southwest 40th Streets to 48th Street, that's Bird Road to 48th Street, is just a real mess out there as this investigation continues. So Miami-Dade Police, Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, I should say, are asking people to stay away from that area. And early on, Michael Hudak spoke with one of the folks there that has a business in that area, and it's a gym, and he was telling Michael Hudak during the report that this happened at 1 o'clock. At around this time is when a lot of kids, because there's a gym, there's a cheerleading camp, there are several sports type facilities in that industrial area where in the afternoons, it gets really, really busy with a lot of young kids training. They're athletes, they're cheerleaders, they're whatnot, and thankfully, maybe thankfully isn't the right word, but there were no children at the time, because it didn't take place later in the afternoon, and it was 1 o'clock when this happened. But again, this could have been really a lot worse. Speaking of Michael Hudak, I think we have him near that scene, and he's got a little more information for us in terms of what police are saying about traffic and whatnot, Michael, and urging people to just kind of stay away from that area. It's a mess.
And this is why. The word mess says it succinctly, Belkis. So we're at Southwest 72nd Avenue, right at that Bird Road entrance, right by the railroad tracks. And this road has been closed for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. And all of this traffic has been diverted to the Southwest 72nd Avenue. And people are being told to take 39th Street and all the adjacent streets around here that are basically like the back roads to get there. And it plays into what you guys were saying about the timing of this entire incident. The fact that it happened right there in the middle of the afternoon and entering the rush hour time and everything like that. This is definitely a chaotic situation out here that you can even see state troopers over there trying to block the roadway and everything like that. So we are still monitoring what is an active situation over here. But as you mentioned, the situation inside of those crime scene tapes that we have been showing for the last hour or 2 hours it seems to be de-escalating. Out here we're still dealing with all of this. So we are here probably about 5 blocks away from where you just saw the sheriff speak briefly about this incident. We can at least tell you for now it seems as if 3 people are being treated for injuries as a result of this shooting. The 4th person who was originally taken to the hospital has been identified as that shooter who is no longer with us. So we are monitoring the traffic situation out here. There's no word on when Bird Road might be opening up once again. As you mentioned, Belkis, it seems like this situation, the investigation into what happened here, trying to find a motive, trying to find any other information that will go well into the evening here as we are approaching 3:20 in the afternoon. So we're going to keep you updated. We mentioned some of those business owners. We mentioned we interviewed the owner of that gym. There have been several business owners that have either contacted, myself directly, 7 News directly, or there was actually a business owner that just pulled up here on the side of the road, walked over and tried to give us a little bit of perspective of where his business is in relation to where this awful situation happened. There were a lot of people in that complex, even though we were still a few hours away from all of those kids being around and in and around that area for the idle cheerleading camp facility or the gym itself, which could get packed around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, as any gym would. There were a lot of people in that complex, and we've seen from some of those videos, people were hiding in any place that they could in that industrial plaza. That includes dumpsters, that includes behind telephone pole glasses. I mean, they were really trying to get out of the line of fire, and at first some of these business owners are telling us they didn't really know where specifically it was coming from because it's such a vast plaza. Echoing a lot, the gunshots were echoing a lot. They couldn't exactly know where everything was happening. But this is certainly a situation that could have been a lot worse. All the business owners in that area were very thankful for the quick response. So we are still monitoring the traffic from out here. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Send it back to you.
All right, Michael, thanks a lot. Yeah, traffic is bad now. Wait till an hour from now when more people get out. Well, school's letting out now and everything else, so it's going to get really bad. Again, Bird Road is closed, 40th Street to 48th Street and 70th to 75th Avenues. That area, just stay away. If you know somebody that goes that way, give them a ring, let them know, get out, get off, don't go, stay at work a little longer, stop and run an errand, do something, but stay out of that area because this investigation is going to go on for quite a while. I imagine there's a lot of witnesses to talk to, lots of cell phone videos to be had still. And if you have cell phone video, if you're watching us now, the Miami-Dade Sheriff urges you to please contact Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office and share that video. Turn over any cell phone video that you might have that will help investigators with piecing together who this person is, why did this happen, what was the motive, because now the shooter is dead, so all those questions, all those answers will die with him.
Yes,
so.
A lot of moving parts, literally and figuratively. We've been showing you how fast this happened. Lynn talking earlier about the fast police response, and we've told you several times 3 people were taken to HCA Kendall, we believe, at least a local hospital, including the shooter, and that is where the shooter died, according to authorities. We want to go to Jessica Holly if we can. 7's Jessica Holly is live at HCA Kendall. We understand she's just arriving on the scene and getting set up. We'll go to her when she is able to tell us more information about what she's seeing, what she's hearing, and what we're learning at this hour. Jessica?
Yes, we are at HCA Florida Kendall Hospital, where, according to 7 News sources, all 3 of the people who were shot in that warehouse area, they were brought here with gunshot wounds. We know one of them was the shooter. He was pronounced dead on arrival here at the hospital. I did have a chance to speak with a family member. She tells me her loved one was shot. They don't know how serious the injuries are at this point. She says he's a man in his 40s. She's also telling us that the shooter is his stepbrother. There is a family gathered outside of the emergency room. Right now, they're telling us they have not been allowed inside, and they have gotten no updates on how their loved ones are doing. But we're trying to gather as much information as we can. But that's what we have for right now in Southwest Miami-Dade. Back to you.
So obviously a hectic situation, as Jessica describes it there. What would be expected at a hospital where people involved in any kind of mass shooting have been taken? You heard her just say loved ones who've been showing up there saying they are having a hard time getting inside, getting information. Again, this is less than 2 hours old as we are working to see more information, learn more details about what's happened.
Jessica, are you still there? I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Something about the shooter's stepbrother. Can you clarify? I want to make sure I heard you correctly. All right. We don't have Jessica, but I believe that's what I heard her say. One of the victims at the hospital. We'll get that confirmed. I don't want to misspeak, but I could have sworn that's what I heard her say.
A
but
very fluid
She's just arrived a little
right.
while ago. She's
Yeah.
trying to get information. I'm sure the hospital officials are also trying to gather up some info to release to the media as well. So it is definitely.
Not to mention the headache you encounter at any hospital or medical office related to privacy issues and what they can and cannot tell you, depending on who you are, how do you prove who you are, all of those factors.
We've all signed
today.
those HIPAA forms.
Absolutely we have, and that's surely playing a role today. Jessica Hawley is at the hospital. Michael Hudak has been at the scene along with numerous other 7 News crews who are working this afternoon to gather more information about what has transpired here sometime after 1 o'clock today, Southwest 73rd Avenue and Southwest 45th Street. The sheriff saying that they encountered 3 people who had been shot, one of whom was the shooter. It's still unclear to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it's unclear to me who law enforcement believes shot the shooter. In other words, they have not explicitly said that
They're
they
saying
did.
it's a police-involved shooting.
They are.
So that sort of implies that
of course it does. Just in terms of the actual detail is what we're saying today, because Sheriff Stutz a moment ago talking about finding 3 people shot after a 911 call led law enforcement to respond. If I heard her correctly, she said deputies found 3 shot who were taken, one of whom was the shooter. So not quite as airtight as we'd like in terms of that piece of information, but as Belkis points out, law enforcement involved shooting. Obviously, an outside investigation agency like FDLE will be a part of investigating exactly what transpired. We won't know everything immediately, but in this day and age, a lot of information still to find out.
And the sheriff was very clear. She came out and said,
don't know much.
Out of the gate,
right.
I'm not taking questions. I don't have a lot of information right now. I am here learning the info as well. I'm here to just let the community know that there is no threat. The situation is under control. The community is not in danger. Our Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office has a handle on it, and that indeed 3 people were shot today, including the shooter, who, as we've told you later, died at HCA Kendall Regional, where all of the victims were taken. But she didn't have a lot of info either. Again, just getting to the scene, and investigators are still trying to work out the details on why.
I understand, right, all of these questions, and now we have 7's Samantha Sosa, who is also, I believe, on this location where this occurred this afternoon, just arriving to give us a different perspective. Samantha, if you would, tell us where you are in relation to Michael Hudak's location, if you have established yourself there enough to know yet, just to give our viewers context of where you are right now in relation to what I assume is a very large police scene.
Jack Belkis, good afternoon. From Michael Hudak, we are a good distance, maybe like 10 blocks or so. I'm on Southwest 40th Street, right near the entrance to the 826 here. And this area is actually completely blocked off to the public right now. We'll give you a look at the street here. All these cars that are passing through are either law enforcement officers or a select few people who are there letting pass through for whatever reason. While we've been out here, there have been multiple agencies. You can see some state troopers stopped right here. There are several members of the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office passing through, and now it seems like some civilian cars are passing through as well. But this whole area has been on lockdown. I entered from the 72nd Street area, and they had to let me through here because, again, this is the area where they're focusing and closing everything off. Across the way here, across the street where we are, that's that warehouse area where all of this happened. And this is where the sheriff briefed us. Again, as you guys mentioned, very little information right now. The sheriff has been going from briefing to briefing in various locations here as they continue their investigation. And you guys mentioned, she said that they responded to some shots fired at a business here. They came and they found 3 people injured, and one of those people injured was the shooter. All of those people were taken to the hospital, and they say that the shooter is dead. So she says there is no threat to the public right now in terms of a shooter. But again, details are very sparse right now. It's unclear. Those 3 people are who they found, but it's unclear how many people exactly were injured in all of this. And if there are additional victims, surely we will learn in just a little bit right now. But again, taking a look at Southwest 40th Street. And we're right near the entrance of the 826 here. They're starting to let a couple of cars through. If we could pan over this way, Ladarius, I think they may be opening up the road soon here. Might be too soon to speak. But so far, police have this area on lockdown as they continue this investigation. As soon as we know more, of course, we'll let you know. We're not sure when to expect the next update from the sheriff's office, but they said as they get information, they're going to be telling us. So for now, I'm reporting live in Southwest Miami-Dade. Samantha Sosa, 7 News.
Okay, Samantha, thanks for that update. Again, just stay away from that area. Bird Road to 48th Street between Southwest 70th and 75th Avenues. You can't get through. If you're trying to get there, it's going to be a mess. So just stay away from that area as this investigation continues. I do have an update. I did clarify the 3 victims. One was the suspect, which died at the hospital. Another victim still in the hospital is the stepbrother of the suspect, the alleged shooter. And the 3rd victim is still in the hospital. We don't have any information on that person, but I did follow up and double check, and that is indeed the latest on the people that were shot today midday in this industrial complex in Southwest Miami-Dade. We have been on top of this story since the very beginning. We've got a network of reporters still working it, and we're going to continue a special edition of 7 News coming up. For now, I'm Belkis Noray.
I'm Jack Royer for Lynn Martinez and the entire 7 News team. We will see you again at 4 o'clock.
This has been a 7 News special report. We now join regularly scheduled programming.
In an intimate relationship with him.
Yes, ma'am.